I've been writing for periodicals, short stories, and books now for over 30 years. I started when I was a young Army officer in Calgary, and I guess in a way it's something that I've always kind of tinkered with, but writing professionally and selling writing would have been almost 30 years. Dundurn was the only place where I would have wanted to have published Among the Walking Wounded, due in large part to the work that we had done together on what the Thunder said. It has been great. I've really enjoyed the creative process with them, and the fact that we are telling a piece of Canadian history, a Canadian story about the men and women who wear our uniform. It's gratifying. It is, and I have appreciated their support tremendously with this book and with my other two as well. For a number of years, even I resisted working on a manuscript. I resisted telling the story about Afghanistan and about PTSD. So the first hurdle was saying, you know what, I do want to share this story. I think I can help other men and women. I want to help other men and women, and it's a story that needs to be told based on some of the decisions that have not been taken properly, I think, by decision makers today concerning the disorder and stigmas that surround it and its treatment. The other hurdle was my own wife. She's intensely involved, obviously, in the story. She stuck with me through my resolution of this disorder, or I shouldn't say resolution, but gaining mastery over it. She was not for exposing our private life, and for me coming out of the closet with this disorder, if you will. Forgive another loose analogy. And it took me a while. I think for Martha, my wife, I think for Martha, as I started to deal with some of the families of the fallen who have died as a result of PTSD as Afghanistan veterans, working with them, seeing their courage to share their sons and daughters' stories with me and be part of the book, that really galvanized her and turned her opinion. But that was certainly the second hurdle. First myself, then her. And after that, it was all downhill, smooth sailing, as we say. There were so many pieces that brought me joy, but a couple that really do stick out in my mind. Reconnecting with some of the soldiers that I had under my command, and some that I did not, that found comfort in the words and in the pages. That really just made me feel so good. You know, as an old soldier, a high mileage soldier, that made me feel like I had value. The pieces that were really poignant, though, was reconnecting with Joshua Wood's father. I still carry a lot of guilt over Joshua's suicide in 2011. And, his mom, God bless her, Susan Wood, has passed away since Joshua's death. But Bruce, meeting him at the book launch in Toronto, feeling again his warmth and forgiveness, which was complete and immediate, even back in 2011 when his death occurred. It was just so good to give Bruce a little piece of his son back in the form of the book and the story. He was a fantastic soldier, a fantastic Canadian. So that was really rewarding. The other thing was connecting with high school friends and people who I've known for virtually all my life, and hearing their thoughts and forgiveness for certain things that I confessed to in the book. And one of my friends, she wrote me a Facebook message, one of those personal ones, about the part where we're being attacked by the Taliban. It's a double suicide attack. And there's a moment in the book, in my life, where, I wonder if I might be a coward based on some guttural reaction I'm having as the ranking man in the convoy. And she wrote to me, she said, "You are the farthest thing from a coward." It just, it made me feel so good. Like an angel of the Lord coming down and saying, "We got your back," right? And those moments, there are dozens of them, and they've been so gratifying as a writer. I think the biggest goal was to connect with other people, with other veterans. I know that there are a lot of men and women from the Canadian Forces, from our police community, first responders. I know there's a lot that suffer in silence, that have not come fully home from the war, from that no man's land, if you'll forgive a First World War analogy. I really wanted to provide a safe space for people to be able to identify and maybe open a door of conversation with their father, with their mom, with their spouse and loved one. And the other side of it was I wanted to characterize the disease. I wanted to describe it with its internal narrative. As shocking and as embarrassing as some of the work is, as some of the writing is in the book, I think it's very helpful for people to understand what goes through someone's mind that struggles with PTSD. There's a lot of misunderstanding about what the disorder is, and there is still a lot of stigma surrounding it. So the secondary goal was to characterize it and try and put a little bit of a feel and touch for the average person about what that sort of mental disorder might be like. I mean, at the center of PTSD, depending on what your stuck points are, you feel like you're useless. And it just fills me with so much happiness when someone tells me, this helped me reach my son, or this helped me tell my wife what happened to me and why I am the way I am.